Hey everybody, it's Rob here. I've been testing a lot of setups on the HotA Barbarian in the past days, and we have figured out a lot more new interactions and mechanics. And today I basically want to share the findings and this updated Hammer of the Ancients HotA Barbarian with all of you guys. So let's get into it. For now, this HotA Barb is the strongest Barbarian build that we know about. There might be stronger builds that we haven't figured out yet, that remains to be seen, but for now it's with quite some margin the strongest build, at least for like the high level content in the game, sort of. And as you have seen, probably on my YouTube already, we have cleared the highest Nightmare Dungeon. We did a 99 solo, we did a 100 with a wizard friend, and we're gonna keep doing some high content here. And obviously the Echo of Lilith has also been defeated with this build. And really a new mechanic has been discovered that boosted this build by quite a bit more. That revolves around the Ancestral Force and the Quake Mechanic of the Hammer. And big shout out to fellow creator Ben, where I've seen this interaction in action first on his Uber Lilith kill in Hardcore. And with really good gear, with this Quake mechanic, I'll show it to you real quick, it can hit up to 50, even sometimes 60 million on my end with my gear. And it's really this shockwave that you see here. I can hit away from the monster and still hit them. And it does bonus damage. You saw there 2 million, I didn't even have my buffs up. So it's like insane, this Quake, what it does. As normal HotA, it's just a very basic line, and this Quake just makes it like so much bigger. And it can hit for bonus damage. I'm not 100% sure yet how this works. But the idea is that some of the hammer damage that is done inwards is also done to the outer targets, basically. And that is really strong. I'm going to show you just a few clips here of me. I will link them in the description as well. Of me hitting for quite some damage here with those mechanics. So this is just me testing the damage, and you see like I make the target vulnerable and I stun it. Here this one is vulnerable and stunned. And then the Quake that's coming outward is hitting for 49 million here. And I think I even have a clip. Let's go here. And this is not the ultimate damage even, like we don't have Wrath of the Berserk on the bar, and this is like pretty realistic scenario actually. That you're gonna stun them. And you see here 63 million hits. So this Quake mechanic overall is pretty strong. And it also takes some adjustments to gameplay. You really want to position yourself, you know, in a certain way to hit the monsters like this. So you don't want to directly hit on the monster, but rather a bit to the side of the monster, or you want to have the monster in your back and hit in front of you where the monster stands. Say this is the monster here. So you want to Quake like away from him, like down here basically is where our hammer would go. And yeah, that really boosts the damage even further. But I did the 99 completely without that mechanic, so it's not necessary, but I think it boosts your damage by another like 50% or something if you really find the right gameplay spot around it. And yeah, let's just quickly go over the gear here. I have a lot of gameplay footage in the description if you want to see that. Clips of the hits and just gameplay in general. But yeah, let's go over the setup. So for the 100 push, this is my like high Nightmare Dungeon setup. You notice my tech power dropped, like I had like 11,000. I dropped it quite a lot. I removed the Imbra from the Paragon board, put in some more defense, and we have about 8k armor here. Like I can get a bit more, and if you drink an armor potion, it's gonna give you another 1,000 basically with the multipliers, and then you get another 75% armor here. So what's really, really important in those high Nightmare Dungeons, if you wanna do like 90 plus pushes, you need to have like, I don't know, like a baseline of 7,500 plus armor and then the disobedience. So it's gonna put you about 14,000, 15,000 armor would be ideal, I think, to even have a chance of tanking these monsters that are like level 150 plus in those high Nightmare Dungeons. Because this is the main damage reduction scaling that you can have. So you really want these percent total armors on your pieces. I don't have many of them. I can still improve quite a bit. And I think after that, like, I can already tank a hit or 2 hits in 100, even sometimes without my challenging shot from trash monsters. So if I get my armor just a notch higher and get to that breakpoint, I'm pretty sure I'll be fairly comfortable on not 100 just tanking the monsters with this Barb. But yeah, you want cooldown reduction, max fury, total armor, and then either life, all stats, main stat, dex, really good stuff. Here you have the each point of fury generates Fortify. Fortify is one of our main damage reduction sources. You see we have the gems here, damage reduction while Fortify. We also have a lot of nodes, like here I rolled it on 20% damage reduction while Fortify. Really important. Here we get some more damage reduction whenever we do basic skills, we will need it in the higher ones. And you see here +4 ranks to Challenging Shout, I get a +7 rank contribution. It gets me all the way up to 62% damage reduction. And if we ever find a Shaco, God bless, we could get up to 70% because we get 4 more skill ranks from a Shaco. And we'll see about our Fortify mechanics then. Damage from close enemies, also really good. And yeah, Fortify gems again. On the gloves now, we used to play the Quake here, but we switched the Quake to the main weapon to have the 100% chance. So now we get the 1.4 multiplier here for the Retribution. Whenever we stun enemies, we have the concussion ability in our skill tree to stun. HotA has very high lucky hit chance, you see 56% and then a 45% chance to stun. So every 4 hits you stun all the enemies. Really good stuff. And obviously 4 ranks to HotA, lucky hit chance, attack speed and crit chance. On the pants here we have another like quadruple defensive pants. Really good. Iron Skin grants you unstoppable. Together with the Rallying Cry I can basically cast Rallying Cry and then after a couple seconds cast Iron Skin to be permanently unstoppable. So I can't be ensnared, I can't be stunned, I can't be frozen. Really, really important. So also here you want to look out for the defensive stats. I could probably roll this to armor percent. Ideally, I guess you have armor percent. Also on this chest armor here, like armor percent instead of all stats would be the best in slot, I think. But it's very hard to get and these are really expensive already. Then on the boots here we go for movement speed and I really like these extra evade charges. Like they can help you a lot in certain dungeons to just evade stuff. I also like the shrine duration for pushing because if you do get a conduit or a blast wave shrine, protection shrine, artillery shrine, it's gonna help you a lot. And you really want the movement speed here. And what I also like to have on the boots is obviously fury cost reduction and the berserking duration. This one basically increases our duration from 4 seconds like to almost 5.5 seconds with the 30% multiplier in the duration. Really, really good. Then on the weapon we have Quake. Here the stat priorities are we always want crit, vulnerable, main stat, and then either close or all stats. Depends on your allocation if you need it for your Paragon Boards. But yeah, Quake weapon here really important. 100% damage even outwards of the Quakes, and there's some extra damage in there as well. Then we play Berserk Ripping here. Right now we have the X expertise, so you could also play 200 sword and just play another aspect, but we need the Berserk Ripping to apply bleed to get our amulet stacks up more quickly, especially on single targets. Like the bleed ticks twice a second, so you get 2 stacks every second next to your normal attacks, and you really, really need this high armor, as I told you, in the hundreds. So Berserk Ripping is more of a defensive tool here. It doesn't really boost your damage all that much because it doesn't scale with your crit chance and crit damage, which we obviously have quite a lot. Like I was trying to aim for like a 1 to 10 ratio here. So 40 crit chance, 400 crit damage, 45 crit chance, 450 crit damage, all that stuff. And then vulnerable, you want to have like a minimum of 300. You can get even up to 400. I don't have it on one of my rings. So yeah, good stats here to look out for. And then damage versus close is just the highest damage boost you can get currently, just because it rolls higher. I get a lot of questions about the core and Unbridled Rage mechanic. But it's just a separate multiplier, guys. It just does not only scale your core, it scales with everything. So I choose to go for close damage, and I mean, I'm hitting for 60 million plus, and the close damage just rolls higher than the core. That's why I go with close damage. Then we have the Edge Master here on the offhand. Again, I have close damage enemies here, the max roll and vulnerable. One more of the crit damage missing, but then also the all stats that I need for my Paragon Boards. Edge Master just gives you a nice boost. Same for the Limitless Rage here. We just get tad more damage here with those two. Then we have the rings here with Maximum Fury. Maximum Fury again also really important on the helm. Just increases your damage here with the rune. Hammer of the Ancients deals 1% additional damage for each point of Fury that you had when using it. This is a really bumping up your damage by another like 2.7 multiplicatively. And you can have even more if you want. You can take some more Fury here in the Paragon Boards if you have the points available. But I chose to go defensively currently with my character. But you can reach well over 200 Fury with all of this, and I also don't have it on my second ring right now. This one is actually really bad. I'm looking to replace it with one that has crit damage on it as well, or Fury. I have one in my stash, but I was not able to find another shout aspect with 4. So these are the two like resource generation rings, like resource generation and the imprints are really important here. Yeah, then we have the amulet. I went for full defensive mode here, basically. Like this one is really, really good. Full cost reduction, rank 2 all defensive skills. This boosts our challenging shout, this boosts our iron skin. It can also boost your ground storm if you're using that in some builds, so yeah, that one is just really good. And our rallying cry, of course, for more resource generation. And yeah, we have the big disobedience here. I think the 1.5 multiplier on the amulet on this is just so important to get your armor up. And yeah, that's pretty much the gear. Expertise, like I said, we use the X right now. If you want to go with a more defensive choice for more disobedience stacks, more armor stacks, you go with the 200 sword. But again, this is not really contributing too much damage. So the expertise is the 1.15 multiplier that I chose here currently. We have the 200 mace expertise. This one is coming because our HotA always uses our mace weapon. By the way, I use the dual wield here just to attack a bit faster for flay and also get more disobedience stacks from the bleed. So yeah, this one gives us a very nice full generation while we berserk, really important. And yeah, if we come over to the abilities, there's the two choices that you always have to make. You either go for flay, for a bit more defense and vulnerable on the target. I think this one might be the best solo choice. For group, you could also play lunging strike with the berserking rune, because you have like high crit chance, like 40 plus. Every second hit basically you get berserking. This also really helps and it teleports you. But I went with the more defensive option for now with flay. It gives you damage reduction and gives you vulnerable on the targets. Then we have Hammer of the Ancients here. This is our main attack. We could go for Pressure Point. I think for the solo gameplay it might be the best. I was playing with a Sork right now, so I didn't have it. You can remove the points here, and you can remove the points from heavy-handed. And you can remove the movement speed. Actually, yeah, we should probably do that. Like, get rid of the movement speed. Take the Pressure Point right now. I have the planner updated in the description. Like, it's always changing my build, and it's very hard to keep the videos up to date. I'm gonna make another one probably, but I'll always do my best to keep the planner as up to date as possible. So check that one out in the description, and that will be updated. Then we have the Iron Skin here, together with Life Regeneration, and this with our Raid Leader basically gives us like 19% life every second, which is the sustain that we need in order to tank hits on that 100. Well, then we have the triple shouts, lots of defense, lots of regeneration, more DPS, all the shout buffs here, damage reduction, duration, and the healing combined with the healing from the Iron Skin. Then we get more Fury when we are berserking, really good for the HotA. We need a lot of Fury, because more Fury, more damage. Pit Fighter here for the extra damage reduction and damage. I get this one, counter offensive from Amulet. This is a pretty nice offensive choice. It's basically, we're always fortified, so it's a 1.12 multiplier. And then we come down here to Wallop, probably best multiplier in the game, 1.15 for 3 points, really insane. And Concussion as well here to stun. And you could put more points in heavy-handed if you want to go for a more DPS-oriented setup. But again, counter offensive and Wallop are better than heavy-handed, because you only crit like 40% of the time. But you are fortified 99% of the time, so it's a 1.12 multiplier basically all the time, and this one would only be a 1.15 40% of the time, so this one is just way better. And we have the Unbridled Rage for more DPS. Then to the Paragon Boards. You notice here we went with quite a lot of defense. This is how we got our armor so high. I dropped a bunch of offensive nodes. So we have the starter board here with the Wrath in here. This one gives us more crit damage and it gives us more Fury on crits. Really important. The next one we have the Marshal. This is pretty standard. I was considering taking off the points of Hunter Killer just to get more defense or more Fury. That's definitely an option. But for now I'm with Hunter Killer, just good damage to elites and bosses. Then over here we made a few changes. We have the exploit here. We removed like 2 nodes here. We put some nodes down here to get some more life. And Fire Rest really... I mean, Rest is like not really the best right now, but it still helps a bit, because the fire stuff, like especially the fire enchanted elites, they really, really hurt. And I need some damage reduction to at least tank one of the fire hits with my challenging shout, so I get like another... This is like just 3 points, because I have to path here anyways. And it gives me 6% life for 3 points, and it gives me like 30 fire res. And I felt that was helpful. Then we have the max Fury nodes, but yeah, alternatively you can spec into more damage if you go down here. Dropped all the unnecessary nodes, not even getting the physical damage here, just no points. And here I changed, you notice my attack power is a lot lower. I changed the Imbra to Might. And this one is to boost quite some defensive nodes here, like damage reduction from vulnerable targets. Like I try to make them vulnerable at all times, and this is like 8% plus 9% plus another 4.5%, like really nice boost here, and also gives us some multiplicative damage and nice stats. Then we have more vulnerable up here, a bit of offensive choices, and here we went with another defensive choice, 8% life, 100% armor. This one is really strong, cost you like 8 points, but really worth it, I feel, in the high tiers. Then we have territorial again. I put off some dex points here. We could get, with 4 points, we could get like 10 more dex, but we mainly use this for the damage reduction. It's all additive damage anyway, so we already have a lot of claws, as you saw. Well, and then up here I also got rid of a couple points of the... You can also invest another 4 points here for more willpower, but I chose defensively and just mainly for damage reduction while fortified here, and well, all the defensive choices up here. And yeah, that's pretty much the tree. That's pretty much the build. Again, I have a lot of gameplay linked in the description. This is definitely, for my finding, the strongest Barbarian build in the game right now. And we'll keep looking into it. We're gonna do some more Thorns next. People really want to see that. But yeah, we always come back to some more smashing. I want to do the solo 100 as well. And yeah, we're gonna get there, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this overview. Hope this helps you. If you liked the video, make sure you leave a like, leave a subscription. I have a lot more content coming here, especially for the Barb. I'll also branch out into some sorcerer gameplay. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Rob over and out. Take care, everybody.